Good morning, how are we doing? Can everybody hear me? We good? All right. You know, once again, I'm grateful to be in the house of the Lord one more time. But here we are, fourth Sunday, right? The fourth Sunday in January, and we had New Year resolutions, we had plans, we had visions, we had blueprints of everything that we want to do better than last year, right? Now, how many people want to be better this year than they were last year? I've asked that before. So I don't see all hands, so some of y'all don't want to be better. Is that what I'm doing? So I'm going to ask you this one more time. How many people want to be better this year than they were last year? Okay, so here's the problem with that though. To be different from last year to this year means something has to change. But not just change, something has to die. And the problem that we have is when we get ready to go from one level to the next, we don't properly prepare for it. You know, when we talk about I want to be better, I want to do this. You ever heard somebody say I want to be a lawyer, but they don't say they want to go to school? Sure. Your kids will say I want to be a doctor, but you look at them like, but you failing, you don't go to class. You're not properly preparing. You know, how many times have people told us, listen, I remember my daughter, one of the main things I told her when she was younger, I said, listen, when she got in middle school, this counts. Middle school counts. Okay, what you did in elementary school, that's behind you. Middle school is where it's going to count because it'll make or break you. You know? Then she got in high school. High school counts. Now, these grades, high school, are going to make a difference to what kind of college you get into. And if you don't get into the right college, then you won't be able to go after the right career. Okay? What is that called? Preparation. So today I'm going to deal with you for preparation for elevation. Because see, you cannot, it doesn't happen by happenstance. It's not an accident. You don't just trip and fall into success. Okay? You don't just trip and fall into the point of being a child of God. No one will accidentally end up in heaven. I can promise you that. It's a prepared place for prepared people. Amen? No, understand. We're talking about preparation for elevation. Heaven is a place of elevation. Amen? It is a prepared place for prepared people. So what makes us think that we don't have to prepare down here? So one of the scriptures that came to me in this, if you would turn to me to Isaiah chapter 6, starting with verse 1. Now this passage deals with death, but it deals with a change. And it says, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord seated on a high and lofty throne. And the hem of his robe filled the temple. Seraphim were standing above him, and they each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, with 2 they flew. And one called to one another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of armies. I just want you to understand that these were angels that realized that no matter what, the glory of God was so strong that they couldn't even look upon it. But still, being in the presence from the beginning of time, still realized the glory of God and called up unto him holy. Amen. Amen. And I want you to understand something about familiarity. Familiarity breeds complacency. Amen? Amen? And what I mean by that is, the more you're around someone, the more you get complacent with them. It's like in church. You start, when you first come to the church, what happens? You start up on fire. You know, we love pastors. We love new people. New converts, they come in, they're on fire to serve for the Lord. Oh, yes, I can do everything. I can do everything. I can do all things in Christ who strengthens me. We'll get y'all about a year and a half later. Well, Pastor, you know, I was going to come into church, but you know how it is. You know. I mean, you know, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, Pastor. You know, we have, because why? We've gotten complacent. You know? We got complacent. We do it in relationships. We get complacent. You meet somebody, you're on fire with them. You love them. You there. Oh, y'all can't get enough of each other. 5 years down the road, I'm so sick of you. I love you, but can I love you from a distance? You know? Complacency. But yet here the angels are. They're there with God every day. They've been there for all eternity. And they still see the holiness of it. I need you to understand. Think about that. That they still, they're still like, holy, holy, holy. Come on. Can you imagine how great God is in that aspect? That you can be with him for all eternity, and no matter what happens, you still see the goodness of him. Every day, you see something new about him. Every moment, you find a new righteousness about him. Every time.
Amen. Amen.
Isn't that where you want to be?
Amen.
You know, I love football. Okay? I love my Falcons. But I love football to the point, I just like cheering on the team that I'm cheering for. It feels good. Doesn't it feel good to just to shout and cheer? If you ever been to an Atlanta United game, you'll understand that. That's high energy. If you get seats, you ain't going to sit down. Don't worry about it. No matter where you sit, you're going to stand. But it's so high energy, it feels so good. That can't even come to an nth of how the energy will feel in heaven with God. Just praising him. And I know you're like, well, Pastor, what does this have to do with preparation for elevation? Because the thing is this. Before you get to know where you want to go, I want you to understand where you're going and what it's like. I want to build up the anticipation for you to understand that what you're about to go through is worth it.
Yes, sir.
Okay? What you're about to go through is worth it. So now I've already set the precedent for you to understand what you're getting to. Now we're going to talk about what you're going through. Amen?
Amen.
So he says here, he said, and here he says, his glory fills the whole earth. The foundations of the doorway shook at the sound of their voices, and the temple was filled with smoke. Then I said, woe is me, for I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and live among people of unclean lips. And because my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of armies, then one seraphim flew to me, and in his hand was glowing coal that he had taken from the altar of tongues. He touched my mouth with it and said, now that this has touched your lips, your iniquity is removed, and your sin is atoned for. Then I heard the voice of the Lord asking, who should I send? Who will go for us? I said, here I am.
Amen.
Send me. And he replied, go, say to these people, keep listening, but do not understand. Keep looking, but do not perceive. In this time, Isaiah received his purpose, his calling, his charge. We have to understand our purpose. We have to understand that God has destined us for greater than where we already are. Some of you think that you have done great things. You know? Some of you think that you've reached the pinnacle. You might be the owner of your company. I've done it, but you have not maxed out. I'm going to tell you how I know you ain't maxed out. Because you're still here. Yeah, how you feel about that? You thought you were there. You thought you did it. As long as you're still here, you still got work to do. Until God calls you home and you walk into glory. Because I don't remember only a couple people, that don't happen to a couple folks. Okay? And you walk into glory, you still have work to do. But the problem is, we have this same concept of, God, I'm not worthy. God, I'm not clean. God, I'm not. And then, after we get Jesus and we get saved, and see, I'm so glad we didn't have to put no hot coal on my tongue, though, for atonement. Praise God for Jesus. Amen. In my concept, I'm just imagining the thought process of how that was. Okay? But you know what? It doesn't matter. It's worth it. Because the wages of sin is death. And it doesn't matter if it hurts me, as long as I know that now I'm cleansed and I'm clean.
All right.
See, that's the first thing you got to understand something. Understand everything doesn't happen to you, but it may be actually happening for you. Everything is not. You keep thinking everything that's happening is happening to you. God, why is this happening to me? God, why am I going through this? God, what is going on? God. And we feel like we're being attacked. Do we not?
Amen.
And it hurts us. I'll share a little testimony with you. I wasn't going to, but God said share it. And I don't want to, but I will. Those of you know from Monday Bible study a couple weeks ago, I talked about how I had to buy a new car. Okay? And I didn't want to buy a car, but I had to buy a car. So went through all that, and I fussed. And I was like, God, I don't want to pay this. I don't want to pay that. I don't want to pay this. And I had a car that was $150 a month. Yeah. See, that was good, wasn't it? Driving a Mercedes was $150 a month. I was good. But God, I had to change, and I didn't want to. And I ended up getting another car. And the car was like way more than that. The note was way more than that. But I was like, I didn't believe, and I was like, God, I don't know. But God made it happen. And everywhere I went, somebody said to me, listen, everything came together for you. Maybe it's God. God is trying to show you. He's doing some things for you. I didn't feel comfortable. Then I got a call, and they told me to bring the car back. Yeah, that part. See, now you see why I don't want to tell y'all this. It wasn't because of my credit. No, nothing like that. But it was dealing with how I get paid. And it bothered me. And I was so mad. I was hurt. And I went back to the deal, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I need to do this. I have to get this done. And I was like, but God, why? You know those moments when you're like, why? Why me? Why are you doing this to me, God? And I got like Job, and I got to the point where I was saying, you know what? Okay, where did I sin at, God? Tell me where I fell short at. Because I'm in ruins. I'm not worthy. Evidently, I'm not worthy. How many of y'all felt that way? You start going through and saying, I'm not worthy, God, and it's because this is happening to me. Evidently, it's something I didn't do right. I talked to Pastor Tans. I was like, man, I'm in the dealership, bro. Pray for me. He was like, he don't know it. He kind of upset me a little bit because he kind of blew me up. Like, yeah, all right. Man, they tripping over here. Yeah, okay, all good, brother. Praise God. Don't you understand? I hung up. I'm like, don't you understand what I'm going through right now? He had like, hey, nothing, bro. Call when you leave, okay? Now I understand that $20,000. That's the reason why you was like, ain't nothing, bro. Call him when you leave. Either God gonna work it out or God gonna work it out. So I sat there, and I waited. I talked to the finance manager, all this other stuff, and then he came back and I was like, listen, I'm a man of integrity. I'm not doing nothing shady. I ain't gonna do nothing underhanded. But here's the deal. He's like, okay, we got something else we can do. We can make it happen for you. He says, but are you sure? I said, yeah. I said, all right. So I sat there, waited in the dealership for about another hour and a half. He came. I said, listen, I gotta go get something to eat. He was like, oh no, give me a minute. Congratulations, we got the deal done.
Yeah.
I said, what? Don't play with me. I ain't got time for you right now. Because my whole thing was, God, why you having this happen to me? But then he says, by the way, Pastor. And I was like, you don't have to comment. You ain't commenting. No, because God had to do this for you. Your payment dropped $75. Woo! Your interest rate went down more than half of what it was. And we got you a 3-year, $36,000 mile bumper warranty.
That's God.
That's God.
That's God. Right.
It wasn't happening to me. It was happening for me. But I cried tears in the middle of a dealership because I felt that I was unworthy, unclean, and in ruins because I was like, God, evidently I did something wrong.
All right.
Now this was me last week. So if I'm going through this, understand, we all got these moments. But the one thing I didn't do was give up on God. See, but at the time there were only certain people I let know what I was dealing with. Because see, everybody can't know your dream, your vision, and your calling. If you turn to Genesis 37:5, It says, and Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren. And they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheep arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood around about, and made obstinance to my sheep. And his brethren said to him, shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it to his brother, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obstinance to me. And he told it to his father, and said to his brethren. And his father rebuked him, and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brother indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the earth? And his brother envied him, but his father observed these things. See, when you understand your purpose and you get your calling, what you have to understand is everybody can't handle it.
That's right. That's right.
God is preparing you for elevation. Whatever God told you to do, he told you.
That's right.
He didn't tell nobody else.
Amen.
There are opportunities in companies that God told you to start. And people say, not you. Not you. Told you to write a book. People say, not you. Plant a church. People say, not you. Call it a mission. People say, not you. People will always say, not you.
That's true.
And you believed it. That's why you still sit right there in the same position you were 5 years ago. Because you believed it. You have books that you haven't started and books you haven't finished. Because you believe what somebody else said. You have ministries that you've yet to walk into because you believe what somebody else said. You have a calling and a purpose to operate under God that you've yet to do because you've been listening to somebody else.
Wow.
And see, half the problem is you shouldn't have put other folk in your business.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Say that.
See, when I'm doing something, it's only certain people I'm going to call and let them know. Because see, some folk, understand, there's a word I think it's called, what is it, homonym? They sound the same, but they mean different. See, people will not pray for you, they will pray on you. Okay? And what I mean by they won't P-R-A-Y, they will P-R-E-Y. Because see, what they will do is they want your destruction. They would rather, instead of them strengthening up themselves to race you, they'd rather tie your shoelaces. And tie them together just so you'll fall. Understand something. You can't share the vision with everybody. Okay? God gave it to you. And understand this. If God called you so specifically, they couldn't understand it anyway. They don't know your story. Pastor says that both are ministers and pastors. But guess what? There's some things that God will tell him he can't share with me because guess what? I won't begin to understand. Because where I may be like, bro, oh, I wouldn't do that. You know? And I'll tell him I wouldn't do that. And God is telling him, why you listen to that fool? This is the same fool that cried at the dealership. And you want to listen to him? But that's what we do though. That's what we do. I'm just saying. So you got to be careful who you share your dreams with. That's why you got to be careful who you marry. Okay, but that's another story. That's church going wild. I just want to find it out there. I want to give you a little hip for that series. Boy, y'all better be careful where you lay your head. All right. So the thing is this. So he had a dream, he had a vision, he understood, he had to realize that Because what happened with Joseph, you know, his brothers came, they said we're going to kill him because we don't like him, and they ended up throwing him in the pit, they were going to kill him, and then Benjamin came and said, hey, we can't kill him, that's our brother, we're not going to do that. They said, okay, so we're going to sell him into slavery. They killed the animal, took his coat of many colors because they was already jealous of him, you know, and they put the blood on him and took it back to their father and said, hey, he's dead.
Well,
now, here's the thing. At that point, many of us would have been like, God, why is this happening to me? He got sold into slavery. Father's favorite, sold into slavery. Now he's working. He's in slavery. He come up. He's working for Potiphar. Potiphar sees the great work that he does, and then he elevates him. Okay? Now, here's what you got to do. What Joseph had to do is, the next thing is number 2. He had to assess his strengths.
Come on.
You have to assess your strengths and your gifts. You know, you have to look at your resources and add it up. Realize what God has gifted you with. You know, when I played football and we were losing, because I played high school football at Benjamin Elijah Mays High School. And when I played football at Benjamin Elijah Mays High School, you know, we were about academia. Okay? It wasn't always about winning. So our record for 2 years was 1-19. That was eons ago. See, that was when we were about academia. Academics, but not about athletics. So that's the story I'm sticking with. So, but what we would have to do is assess our situation. You know, in other words, call audible, regroup, restructure. You know what? This playbook ain't working. You know, I remember one time we played against Mr. Cab. I don't even know why. That was like, why did we play this game? That's the state champions every year, Coach Godfrey, who nobody wanted to play him unless you was Southwest Macon. You know? But I mean, the thing is, anything that was happening, if our run game was getting shut down, we had to readjust our line. You know, if our quarterback was getting blitzed, we had to readjust our line. We had to realize, guess what? Maybe we got to do something else. We got to do a sweep play. Maybe we got to go 3 yards and out. Whatever we got to do, but we have to adjust. That's right. But we have to adjust with our strength. Okay? Now, if I don't have anybody who can catch, then we're not going to start doing pass plays. You understand what I'm saying? What I may have to do is actually get some defensive players and put them on my line to give my quarterback more time. You know, now that may be hard, but hey, that's what we need to do. At least to give him 2 more seconds. But we have to adjust with our strengths. What we got to do in the kingdom of God is be able to adjust with our strengths and our gifts that God has given us. Amen. You got to look at what God has gifted you with. Yes. You got a strong prayer language. Pray. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. You got people around you that will speak life into you. Yes. That's who you lean to. Yes. Yes, you got some prayer warriors in this church. Why are you going to them folk that can barely say grace? Come on. Come on. I'm just going to be honest with you. Y'all start calling your gospel friends to pray with you. Them ain't the ones to call on. Come on. Come on. Y'all don't want to call the folk that's going to pray for you because of the fact that you're afraid of what they're going to say. Because they're going to tell you the truth. That's right. See, the problem is, I'm going to tell you, I know, I've been there. You know, I mean, as a pastor, I had an associate pastor. I love her so much, but I hated talking to her because I knew she was going to tell me the truth. You know, and sometimes I'd be like, I know I'm the pastor. You know, you going to talk to me this way? And then you realize, yeah, they need you talking to this guy talking. Okay, I'm going to take it. But that's the thing. So you got to assess your gifts. You have to assess what you have, and you have to operate in that gift. You know, and what happens is we often don't do that. We don't operate with what we have. We want to operate with what other people have. You understand what I'm saying? If you're not called, and all of us are called to evangelize, okay? But if you know you don't have the gifting to go out and just talk to people and that you don't know over in 5 points, not little 5 points, I'm talking about 5 points. 5 points down there. If you know you're scared to go into the bluff and you don't even know what a nickel bag is, you know what I'm saying? If you don't know what an 8 ball is, you go over there. That's not your calling. Okay? That's right. If you're trying to hit some young folk and you have no idea who YG is, who Lil Boosie is, you don't do it. Don't do it. Just leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? Get Isaiah, some of them over there, go, they'll handle it, they good. You know what I'm saying? That's all right. Use your gifts, use your strong points.
That's right.
You understand? Don't get mad. But guess what? Don't get mad at them because of what their strong points are. Don't get mad at them because of the music they may listen to, because guess what? The music they listen to, they hear things you don't and know how to relate to the people that you can't even reach.
Better say that. Better say that.
Operate in your gifting. Okay? So, and thirdly, you must believe in your purpose and calling. You must believe in your purpose and calling. One of the things about what happened with Joseph is he got to the point where I don't really believe that he understood who he was, but what he did believe in was his integrity. Because what happened when he got to Potiphar's house, Potiphar's wife wanted him. So I imagine this had to be a good-looking young cat. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she said he was. You would not that old. She's like, boy, pass up and tell you, boy. I remember. Woo! Lord have mercy. Next to him and Adam, I don't know who. You were not that old. Don't even try. Don't even try. You little king, but you ain't that. You ain't no big king. Come on. If you did, God bless you. You know, but all jokes. But seriously though, I mean, and he did something that, you know, and I sat back and I really, me personally, I would love to just do some shows on the Bible from a realistic aspect of it. Because the aspect of this woman coming after him and he turning it down. Bruh. That's integrity. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's integrity.
Yes.
And turned it down knowing that it was going to cost him.
Yes. Come on.
Many of you don't even make the right decision. You can't even give back the right change when they gave you the wrong change. Y'all want to call it a blessing when you actually stole it. This man had integrity. And when you understand your calling and you believe in your purpose and your calling, you understand that you cannot dilute it with foolishness and sin.
That's right.
You have to be upright. You can't be an sparkler of the gospel on one hand and lying and cheating on the other hand.
You're right.
You can't pray for the blessings of God on one hand and then turn around and try to steal and lie on your taxes on the other hand.
You better say it.
I'm going to play my cousin. You know, her mom ain't got no job either. Can I claim the dog? I'm going to claim the dog. That's why we named that dog George. Y'all laughing, but y'all know that's true.
That's true.
Tell the truth. How many folks claim support? Y'all should have claimed it today.
That's true.
Integrity. I'm telling you. Thank you, D. You know what? I claimed some in the past before I understood. I didn't have full understanding. I claimed some folk I should have claimed. You know, hey, statute of limitations, I can say what I want to say. Understand, I read the law. You know, but the thing is, but you can't be integrity. You can't expect God to move when you're operating disingenuously.
Yeah.
And when you understand your calling and purpose, it doesn't mean that you know what God has called you to do. That means you understand how to operate in it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay? That means you have to operate in it. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to be perfect. Okay? But what I am saying, a little bit too much on the monitors. Thank you. What I am saying is the fact that you will know how to be better at it. And you'll know those decisions when they come, how to make the right decision. And how to walk not right, but walk righteous.
Right.
Because there's a difference. The world will tell you what's right. But what's right is not always righteous. You understand what I'm saying? So Potiphar ended up going to jail, you know, because his wife lied on him. Husband was still in jail, and then sold him up the river and ended up in a dungeon in a prison. And he ended up, and I don't understand, what he really ended up, the Bible doesn't make it clear. It literally put him on death row.
All right.
That's really where he was. It wasn't just prison. He was on death row. The people where he were going to be executed unless they got clemency. Am I correct?
That's right.
It was an end all be all. Dead man walking. You understand? It was the Green Mile. So here he is. But the one thing he had to do is what we got to do, is step forward.
Amen.
And that is abide in the office in which we were called.
Lord Jesus.
Lord Jesus.
You know, one of the things we got to understand, it may seem a little bit contradictory, but Isaiah even understood he had a new position and a new calling.
Come on.
Joseph had a new position and a new calling. And when we begin to understand a new position and new calling, then we understand we make that change. We have to do that. Because if we don't, what happens? We miss it. We miss what God is telling us to do. And also, and in that, it goes into, you know, waiting in the maturity of the promise. You know, in other words, in the church we call it the fruition. We hear, you know, wait for fruition. And the funny part, we think fruition meant development. Y'all, how many people have thought that word? They thought that fruition meant development. It meant that you meant, I'm waiting for fruition. No, it means understanding of what it is, of what the job is. So most of us don't even understand the calling that we have. Okay, so we have to have it, wait for it to come to fruition, for it to come to maturity. So what happens, Joseph was sitting in his dungeon, and he sat here, and some people started telling him some dreams. One told him a dream, and he told him, guess what, the dreams means you're going to be dead. They're going to kill you. Well, actually, he told one guy, and so he says, you're going to be set free. And then it's funny, you know, when we get good news from one person, we think we're going to get good news too. You know, so that's why y'all don't need to call them psychic hotlines. Stay away from that stuff. Everybody want to hear, tell me the good news of my love life. You know, some of y'all, the truth be, your love life is dead because you're dead and you have no love inside of you. Let's just be real. Because the first love you got to have is the love for Christ.
All right.
Okay? And then you got to love yourself. Because you can't love nobody until you love you. If you can't love nobody else, you can't love God. If you can't love God, then you're not what? A believer. Oh man, so that's why you keep having a bad romance. Learn how to love you. You want somebody to love you instead, so because you can't love you.
Well,
Yeah, that was a preview for you. There you go. So, but the thing is, we have to, he had to understand what his purpose was. And he had to operate it. And why, many of us, think about it. How many of y'all would be on death row and still answering people's dreams? Y'all have been mad. I ain't doing nothing for nobody. You know, I'm just going to sit here and die and pout. Have y'all pout when you get mad and things ain't going your way. Tell the truth. Raise your hand. You know, y'all gonna start telling the truth and raising your hand. Hold on, listen. First of all, the first step is acceptance. Amen? The first step is acceptance. Okay, how many of y'all pout when you don't get your way? Higher, you better raise your hand. High. I'm looking at over here some other folks. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And I know you do, but I already saw it. I already saw it. You know? I get it. When it wasn't working well with me last week, I shut down. Anybody who tried to call me last week did not get me. Folks thought something was wrong. Matter of fact, this will tell you how bad I shut down. Tell you, I didn't even go to the gym that day.
You shut down?
Yeah. I shut it down.
Shut it all the way down.
I shut it down. I'm a work in progress. I'm just being transparent. You know, I'm not on pet because y'all need to know all my business.
all right.
Like I said, yeah, everybody can't handle everything. But the thing is, he sat there and he didn't shut down. He still understood his gifting. And then the other part about it, his integrity kicked in with his gifting. Because the next person asked him to interpret a dream, and what happened? He turned around and told him that they're going to kill you in 3 days.
That's right.
Wow. How many of y'all would have had the nerve to tell the truth that you're going to die? Y'all don't even want to tell the truth to somebody's kid that you know you're going to jail, right? You know what you did was wrong.
Yeah.
Y'all don't want to tell the truth to your own kids saying, look, you deserve to be suspended for what you got.
Right. That's right.
Y'all want to justify what your kids did, and you want to pray to God, and no, sometimes people got to deal with the punishment of what they dealt with.
Well.
Because there's a lesson in it. Because what you fail to realize is Oftentimes, people aren't sorry for what they did. They're sorry for getting caught.
That's true.
That's right. Amen. Amen.
There's a message in there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know, there's a definite message in it. So, but what we have to do is, we have to wait on the maturity of the promise. That means that don't be impatient. Just like an elevator, you don't be impatient for it. You know, you can't microwave your blessing. You can't microwave your calling. Joseph knew what his calling was. He knew he was going to be a leader.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the funny part about it is, his brothers didn't understand it. His father didn't understand it. Matter of fact, he didn't even understand it.
That's right.
That's right.
So he couldn't walk right into it and say, I'm going to lead. One of the biggest things we have with church planners is the guys that come in and they always want to say, I'm ready to take over the world. And I'm going to say the whole, who do you call to reach? Everybody.
Oh,
Here we go, this guy. Remember those guys? This guy. You know, or as a pastor, we get somebody who's doing the ministry and they're ready to preach. They say they're called to preach and now they're ready to pastor.
yeah.
They ain't preached out one sermon.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, have not executed out one scripture.
Yeah.
But they're ready to pastor.
Lord Jesus.
I had a guy that came through East Atlanta. He was ready to pastor. He was ready. I said ready to pastor. I didn't even say we called him to the ministry. He was saying he was beyond that. I sent out a questionnaire. I asked him to tell me who the disciples were, tell me the deacons, what it takes to be a deacon. I told him to explain the fivefold ministry. I told him to get what it is of the Spirit. This guy didn't even Google the answers. He gave me so much stuff that was far-fetched. I swear, spiritual gifts, I was like, he named stuff from cooking to, he's talking about, then he went into laying on of hands and elevation of people and raising of the dead, and I was like, what is this buffoonery you dealing with here? I mean, literally. I asked him names of the deacons, he gave me some of everybody. He gave me James and John. I asked him what were the four gospels. He couldn't even do that. I said, bro, you could have, and it didn't hand wrote it. It was so bad. I was wrong. I shared it with some of my other pastor friends. And I was like, this guy wanted, no. But the thing is, here's the problem. I would have groomed him, I would have trained him, I would have brought him up. And I would have matured him. He didn't want to. He left and started a church. And people followed him. Did you get that part? People followed him. See, what happens is when you're immature, just because people support you, it doesn't mean that you're doing the right thing.
Come on, man.
Come on. That's not true. Say that. Say that.
Just because you got an amen corner doesn't mean that God is the one that said, hey man.
That's right.
I'm just going to be honest with you.
That's right.
So Joseph had to understand, he had to mature. Because he couldn't lead his family that way. They didn't have an understanding. So it took time. But here's the thing. Not just maturity of the gift. It took time because famine had to strike the land. So it had to take time. Why? For the king to be in a position to where he needed to call upon him. And where he needed him. And he could gain his trust.
Well.
See, God is working everything out. For your good. Like I said, the first part. He's not doing it to you. He's doing it for you.
Amen.
But you have to be patient.
Yes, sir.
You got to be patient. And then the last thing is the fact that you got to understand that out of everything that we do, out of everything that God has commissioned you to do, out of everything that God has purposed you to do, what will make everything work for you? What is that key? What is that one thing that ignites that force? What is that dunamis power, that explosive power? And that's that fifth thing. And that's Jesus Christ. See, after we've understood it, we've accepted it, we've walked in it, we've allowed it to mature, we need the key. You need power.
That's right.
If there's no power, there's no elevation.
That's right.
You ever seen an elevator work without power?
Nope.
I don't even care what, it could be a rock on a rope on a reel, on a pulley, is still what? Power. Christ is that power. It's important for you to need him. See, Christ is the key that starts your car of spirituality.
Amen.
Now, I know many of you say, well, I don't use a key. I have keyless entry on my car. And you know, that's a good thing. Because I believe Christ is keyless. He's a keyless. He's Wi-Fi. He's like that. But guess what happens? Any of y'all have one of those keyless cars? One of those, push button starts? You got one of those? Now, anybody ever crank up the car and then walk outside, leave your key, and then get in the car and drive? Or am I the only one that did that? Okay, I did it because I wanted to know how far my car could go. I told you, hey, you can only get about a quarter of a mile to a mile. And that's why many of you run out of gas. Because y'all start off with Christ and then y'all leave it back at home. You're leaving. Now some of y'all need an old-fashioned car where you got to sit the key in and turn it because you got to keep going. Because y'all need that key to stay in there. Because if that key ain't in there, you know you're going to leave that key. In other words, you're going to leave Christ and you're going to end up going where you don't need to be going. And then you're going to be stuck saying, God, come save me and help me. But some people that have matured, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything bad. Some of us, Paul even said, some people need to keep straight and keep the schoolmaster in law with them at all times. He says, if your brother, I do believe Paul said, he says, if they can't eat the meat, and they got to pray, then you do that. Don't eat. Honor them. Okay? You got to be all things to all men at that time. But that's okay. But for some of us that may have the key, remote start, we got to remember, we got to keep that key with us.
Amen.
Okay?
Amen.
But that also means that we got to also know that we can lock that key in the car and we can be without it.
That's right.
We can lock ourselves out of the will of God.
Thank you.
We can do it, not God. And God said, I'll get you. I'll get back to you. It's going to cost you something. You're going to have to work for it. But we can't do it without Christ. Christ is the propitiation. And it goes back to the very beginning. When he first understood and saw the glory of God, what did he say? He said they took the hot coal with the tongues, placed it on his lips. Why? Because he realized he was in ruins and he was not worthy enough. We're not worthy enough for the calling and the purpose that God has called us. And we understand that, but God says, listen, I have something that will atone for your sins.
Lord Jesus.
And that is my son.
Yes, sir.
He's the key. He's your power. He's your access.
Yes, sir.
He's your purpose.
Yes, sir.
Don't leave without the key.
Amen.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Did you understand? Don't leave without the key.
Yes, sir.
Don't operate without the key.
Yes, sir.
Everywhere I go, the key, right, I got my key in my pocket.
I got mine in my pocket.
Always. Why? Because I know, no matter what, as long as I got Christ with me, I got the key, I can get in, I can get out, and I can get up, and I can go.
Amen. Amen.
There's not one, I cannot expect to go anywhere without my key. So why do you think you can go anywhere without Christ? You can't pick him up and lay him down, and then expect to go somewhere. It doesn't work that way.
All right.
Wherever you go, he has to go with you.
Amen.
So what happened here in the story? Later on, well, Joseph ended up, King called him and ended up telling him about the dream, explained the dream that he had. He loved it. He made him an overseer. The greatest thing that happened about that was famine in the land. Joseph wasn't just the overseer. Now, see, the funny part about it is, he was a dreamer or visionary, and he got interpreted, and that was his gifting. But his purpose was to be an overseer and a leader. And when there was famine, he was the one that was atoning and telling people what to get, how much to go, and where to get it from. And his family came in and they needed it. They needed food. Because there was meat in the storehouse. And that's where you come to get it, in a dry time. And when he came, and when he saw his brothers, they didn't even recognize him. But then he said, go get your father. And he brought him. And he revealed himself to them. And they felt that they were unworthy. But he brought them in. But here's the thing. Because of his righteousness, he didn't do what many of us would have done and just gave him a little bit. Some of us would have like, I'm going to take care of my daddy. I'll take care of my little brother who was new, because he didn't do nothing wrong. And then the rest of y'all, I'm going to give you just what you asked for. And we would have called that being right, right?
Yeah, right.
God said, no. He was righteous. He blessed them. He blessed them and brought them in. You got to ask yourself, when you hear this story, where's your heart?
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Yes, sir.
I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand on this one. She just say good. You ain't finna call. I'm tired of you calling me out, Pastor. Making me look bad. I ain't the only one in here struggling. You ain't the only one in here struggling, trust me. Look, you just being real with us, okay? God is going to honor your integrity.
That's right.
Amen.
The realness of it is this. If you know right now, in your heart, that you'd have had that angst and that animosity to your family, now's the time for you to ask Christ to come into your heart.
Amen.
Amen.
We sit up and we make concessions for everything that we do, and we don't pay attention that we're not making concessions, we're making excuses.
Say
And the
that.
excuses don't excuse us.
Say that.
It's not justifiable.
Come on.
We can't sit here any longer and expect to get to the next level. We're talking about preparation for elevation. And what I'm saying is, you can't expect to begin to start that journey if your mind isn't right,
That's right.
if your heart isn't right,
That's right. Come on.
if your spirit isn't right. If you don't have the intent to operate in righteousness. I mean, what I mean by that, you got to have the intent to want to be righteous.
That's right.
Because many of us have the intent to just want to get over. We have the intent to want to just get by.
That's right.
But we don't have the intent to want to be righteous. So, in closing, if you realize that you've been living your life, if our ministers and prayer was to come forth, if you realize you've been living your life in a situation, and I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands or tell publicly what it is, but if you know you have not been living righteously, you know that in your heart you've been having ill will, and you know that in your heart, in that situation, or any situation like that, you would not have operated with such exemplary integrity. We want you to come down here and pray. We want to pray for you. We want to pray with you. Because we want you to get prepared and have your preparation for your elevation. We've seen what corrupt leadership does. We've seen what leadership that does not follow Christ looks like. We don't want to become that, do we? Do we?
No, sir.
So, I ask you, I beseech you, come on down. Let us pray for you. If you haven't accepted Jesus Christ, if you've been operating without the key, and you're ready to get started, this is the time that you can come down. You say, God, I come to you. I need you. I want you. Matter of fact, I can't even do this without you. Come in. If you had Christ and you left him, and you know you need him back, you realize that you strayed a little bit too far away from your king. Come on. Let us pray. Let us get you back to where you're supposed to be. Our prayer warriors, our intercessors are here for you. We're not going to get to the business. We're not going to pray on you. We just want to pray for you. We're going to pray with you.
So take everything. I don't want it. I don't need it, God. So take everything. Everybody stand to your feet.